We have a mitzvah of Ner Chanukah. We have a mitzvah of Ner Chanukah. I mentioned that Shabbos also, that it's Chaviva. The Rambam says the mitzvah of Ner Chanukah is Chaviva ad ma'od. It's very precious, very beloved, the word Chaviva, which is interesting for the Rambam to write. You don't find the Rambam writing such a language on any other of the 112 mitzvahs. Because there are 13 mitzvahs actually. This is mitzvah Drabanan. It's mitzvah Drabanan. And he says the mitzvah is Chaviva ad ma'od. So it's chav. And you see people get all excited and do the mitzvah Ner Chanukah. It's very chav. It's very nice mitzvah. And the reason is because it's a mitzvah Drabanan. It's a mitzvah Drabanan. It's one of the only mitzvahs besides Megillah. It's one of the only mitzvahs that are really Drabanan. And that the entire mitzvah was created. You know, we have many other Drabanans that are offshoots of the Rises, but this is like a whole new mitzvah of Chanukah. Like a bracha, Asher Kedushanim V'Soysim V'Tzvanim Hadik Ner Chanukah. And Divrei Sofer Machaviv, the Gemara says. The Gemara says that Tovim Deidecha Meyayin. The Divrei Sofer are more precious to us than the Yein Shel Torah. Right? That's what the Gemara says. So, Divrei Sofer Chavivim.
Why would he say that?
Why would we say that? The things that we have from the rabbinic scholars represent the Torah Shabbat Peh, which is the Torah that's given to us to learn, and this is very chaviv by us. More Yein Shel Torah. Yeah, it's all sourced from the Raisa. Obviously, we're not saying one is more important than the other. We're just saying that it has a certain chavivus.
Well, why do we say Asher Kedushanim V'Tzvanim when we say that?
Right, because it says Loisasor, Rabbanon, so you can say Kedushibanu. The Torah says you have to listen to the Rabbanon, right? So Loisasor, the Gemara says in Brachas.
So by doing Hanukkah, you're actually doing two mitzvahs. You're listening to the Rabbanon and you're doing Hanukkah.
There's Rabbanons like that, yeah. There's Rabbanons, you can make a bracha of Tzivanu. Okay, listen, these are tifa things, you know, all the mitzvahs, even the Rabbanon are sourced in the Torah.
But see, when we make a bracha, we don't make any chilik between us. Some of it's the Oraisa, some of it's the Rabbanon, which is kind of surprising. Whenever I say Hallel, I always feel a little bit funny when I say Asher Kedushanim V'Tzvanim. And I know it's with the Rabbanon.
What could be mamash sourced in the Deraisa? You have to learn the first round. You have to learn the first round and say mitzvahs. But anyways, these things are very, very precious, and that's why he says. Rambam says Chaviva ad ma'od. It's a very precious mitzvah. And I want to get more to the halacha, but it represents the entire concept of the mitzvah Ner Chanukah represents the entire concept of Torah Shabbat Peh, the Torah that we have it. Like the Rekech says that the light of the menorah represents the 36 days, 36 candles represents 36 days, 36 hours, that the Or HaGonas was lit in the beginning of creation, and now it comes out. That's that's the Torah. So, anyways, there's a lot of things going on when you talk about Ner Chanukah, you know, and it definitely represents that Klal Yisrael is around and goes for so long because we have the Or HaTorah, we have the Ner. So it's never extinguished. It's never extinguished. So, anyways,
6 is the 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus.
You'll add it up. Yeah.
And he will.
Okay. There's a lot to talk about in the drush, but we'll first maybe next week. Maybe next week's Chanukah. We can talk about
this is a shiur. It's not asking so many questions.
36.
Told you, dude.
36 hours. All right.
Okay, maybe next week we'll go into the Agadata. There's a lot of drush and shloah and others that discuss many aspects of Chanukah. But we're going to go to the halacha. So the halacha is we light the menorah. The mitzvah of Chanukah has two mitzvahs we have on Chanukah. One is to light the menorah, and the other one is to say Haidah. Halal v'Haidah, to say praise. And which I'm saying, do Haidah by lighting the neiros. It goes together. We say We say Haneris, Halolo, Nachum Adlikim, Anisim. You never say the whole tefillah in the middle of a mitzvah. It's a hefsek. I start lighting and I start saying the Haidah, but it's part of the mitzvah. Haidah is part of the mitzvah. Praising Hashem is part of the mitzvah. These are two mitzvahs, Halal and Haidah. Say Halanisim. It's part of the mitzvah of Chanukah. We're going to discuss the neighbors here now. So there's man. So the neighbors, the mitzvah is to light a candle, to light not a candle, to light a nair, That's the mitzvah. Like we mentioned on Shabbos, that the proper way to do it is with shemen zayis, with olive oil, which is not hard to get today. If you buy it earlier than Chanukah, it might be cheaper, but you could get shemen zayis. And
cheaper before Chanukah?
Right, like a month earlier. Yeah, if you do it a month earlier, day after. Yeah.
It's better if it's
right, I'll push it off 8 days.
There's a mitzvah to light with shemen zayis because that's what they did in the Beis HaMikdash, to light with shemen zayis. And any other oil is also kosher because it's, as long as it goes, it lights nicely, which most oils do. So they're kosher. And there's a question of wax is kosher, which is an interesting question. Because wax doesn't need to be in a kli, right? It doesn't have to be in the
holders.
In the holders, you could technically just put it on the table, straight on. You could put the wax candles on the table.
If you put that in a row, that wouldn't
So you
wouldn't
put
work.
it in a row. So before Shalach, that is kosher, that's good. And not only that, the Ramah says that in his days they used noigim b'medinas elu lahadlik b'ner shel shaiva. So it's as clear as oil. So they were noig. The Ramah says in his places they were noig to use candles, but the Mefarshim say that's because they didn't really. It wasn't so easy to get olive oil. It wasn't so easy to get olive oil, so they were noig to use candles. It was good. But like I mentioned, Shabbos and Machlokes said even if you started to, let's say you set up your menorah with candles, and then you found olive oil, should I take down the other neighbors and switch it to olive oil, or do I leave the candles there? So it's a machlokes to Shav Yaakov and the Chacham Tzvi. Shav Yaakov says that once you started, you don't have to do tarech to take off and put in the shemen, and the Chacham Tzvi says no. If I have olive oil, I should switch it. So he said, before I buy it, I should buy olive oil. So even though the Ramah says that it's kosher, nobody's arguing that it's kosher, but today we're so easy to get the oils, and they have it, if you're lazy, they have stuff you could just buy and break off the top and light it. You don't even have to, like the old days, make your own wicks, and make your wicks and the oil and making it takes you half hour to set up each candle. You don't have to do that today. Today you just buy the ready-made things, crack it off. Telling you, we live in a generation where everything's at your fingertips. There's nothing that you need to work for today.
The ready-made, sometimes they come in solid also.
Yeah, but it melts as soon as you light it. I imagine it melts as soon as you...
It's easier to transport.
I don't know why it's solid, how they do that. It's explain how they work it, but I assume if it's 100% pure olive oil, so it shouldn't be an issue.
The candles turn into oil when they drip down, and then they harden.
If it's in the clay,
the oil.
So there is such a concept that's actually in this Ksav Yad I told you about. So he actually says he has 10 tanoim that this I mentioned. This is from Eliyahu Navi that he gave over to Rabbi Saginar, the son of the Ravid, and the grandfather Chida wrote it over, and it was printed in somewhere. And this is not halacha l'maisa, because halacha we have halacha. We already have our Shulchan Aruch of halacha. So Yonavi can give over to a Bitzak Saginar whatever he wants, but it doesn't change our halacha. You have to understand that these two things don't mix. So, but he says that one of the Tanaim is that you should have a kli that's right. That you should have a utensil that's right to hold the neiros, and he gives a whole list of what's first and what's second. Now this rule is not so simple, because the Mishabur brings down here in the halacha that you could even set up the menorah. You could set up the menorah wax candles on the table. It says bekoisel, or on a wall. Madbikim neiru sharis bekoisel. So it's clear that he holds that you don't even need a kli. You could just put it directly down. Maybe that's a kli. That's a wall. You're using a wall. You just put it down, and you yotzi your mitzvah Chanukah. So halacha l'maisa you yotzi without the kli. But he says, as he says, what?
Hidur mitzvah?
Yeah, he asked the question, we mentioned Shabbos, that why is it that it says the Rogel b'ner Chanukah, everybody has, you have Bonim Talmidei Chacham. So he says, how come everybody's doing their Chanukah and not everybody's having children Talmidei Chacham? Right? So, Chaim Kanievsky says, well, the first thing is you have to raise your kid to be a Talmid Chacham. You know, if right. But he says, Roiva Olam Yotzim, Roiva Olam Yotzim, the mitzvah of Chanukah. But only a mi'at are doing it properly. You know, with all the tanoim and the things and how. If you do it properly, you have this wonderful segula that your children be Talmid Chacham. That's what he writes.
We have the school in Mishabera and Musaf Shabbos, called Mishahisim Zav Sivor, Onketzig, only the people who say who get sick, who Isaac with us or something happens to them bad. So what is it, a joke?
Yeah, if a guy gets a schooler and then he stands in front of a car and he gets run over. So what happened to the school that he did? He had a school, he davened nets. It says someone davens nets, he's not going to be nizik the whole day. And then he goes, stands on the 401, you know, and he gets run over. So you can have all the schoolers, but you got to, you know, you have to, take all the other measures too. You know what I mean? If a guy has this schooler, but then he goes speaks Lashon Hara, or a guy, you know. So there's always a balance. So anyways, but there is such a concept out there of having a kli. And one of the questions is because the wax candles doesn't need a kli, doesn't go in a kli. So there are those that want to say that you can't do it. Not like the Poskim that says you could use, but l'maisa you could use candles and it's kosher. But definitely one should be mahader to use it, do it properly, to do it with oil, shamazayis. It's not hard today. It's easy to do. And that's the Iker Mitzvah, because the nest was done with Shemazayis. Just to show you, I never saw this anywhere, but I saw it in here.
This was also done with the menorah.
In a menorah, which is a kli. Yes, you should have a kli. Yeah, it's interesting to get without kli. The Iker is to have them there. What? So he says the best menorah, all the levels of what kind of menorah you should have, the best is gold. That's the biggest hit of mitzvah. You got to be able to afford that. The second is silver, which is I think the others for silver.
I have several.
Gold menorah?
Yeah.
Made out of actual gold?
Pure gold.
The first menorah.
Somebody here in Toronto that has a gold menorah.
The first menorah is not gold when they.
I have my father's menorah.
It was wood.
Really, sterling?
Yeah, but it's way smaller than the ones they make today.
It's because
it's only about this size.
With dill. Anyways, but okay, I just want to say an interesting point here. We're talking about the kli. You got to have any Zell do the math for us. He started already, but
so what are the things that we're supposed to do that makes it like really good? I mean, that we're really
you have in mind to be yotze the mitzvah, and you have kavanas, and that's really good. It's the first step.
Kavanas
to be yotze the mitzvah, and to the light that people are in such a rush that they forget.
Pressure.
He says like this. I don't know what the drum is, like some kind of drum. That's like an ounce or whatever it was.
The what?
So the amount of shemen you should put in the menorah yifkach mishkal beis drumin v'reviyah b'chol never ner. That's a certain amount, which he says that your kli, your ner should be etzba and etzba b'rum etzba. Where do you get this from? Okay, this is not halacha. This is from derived from the Leonavi. But the halacha l'mais is not brought down any such share, as long as it lights for a half hour.
Yeah,
but he makes a very interesting cheshbon here. He says they only found oil that will last for one night, right? So it was a shear gimel lugin. It was 3 lugim and a half for each night. So that was what they had, which to split it up to the 7 areas was chatzi lug in each ner. Was a half a lug in each ner. And a chatzi lug is 3 bayim, and each bay is 18 drams, and 3 bayim, which is it comes out 54 drum for each ner, and that was like this. That was a shear that they found in the Chaisim of Kohen Gadol. They found 378 for, altogether to last. This was enough to go in. They split this up to 8 nights. That's how he learns. They split up to 8 nights, and each night they put on 7 dramen missing a revia, and that's a share to last for an hour and a half. That's an eighth of the night. So in other words, they put in an eighth in each, eighth of the amount. There's no question what they did, because they only had enough for one night. So he learns they put in an eighth for each night to last for 8 days until they were going to get new ones. Until they would get.
They'd be short by 2 drumming like they did last night.
Why?
Well, 54, it goes into 54 unless my math is wrong.
It was altogether 300 and it was 54 for each nair. So it was 378 altogether.
Oh, they had 378.
Yeah, Draman. Yeah.
Why do
and then hold on. So the cheshbon is like this. So the cheshbon is that they put in an eighth of that, which was enough to last for an hour and a half. But all we need is for a half hour. So if all we need for a half hour, so for Ner Chanukah you need 2 dramen and a revia, which he says fits into a kli, which is esbo or etzba. But what he's trying to do is we're trying to replicate what they did in the Beis HaMikdash. So we're trying to have the same amount proportionally of oil in our menorah that they had in their menorah. So if they wanted theirs to last for
hour and a half.
For an hour and a half, and ours only has to last for a half hour. So you need that bit.
Why
Which
do
is
we
interesting
only
to me.
half an hour?
Mom is trying to replicate exactly what they did. The same. Allah is not put down such a concept.
Why do we only do
Just
half
the
an
half
hour then, if they did an hour and a half?
They did because they wanted to go. Really, they needed to go through the whole night.
Right.
But since they only had enough for one night, so the way that he learns, what they did, they split it up among 8 nights. So they only had to go for an eighth of a night.
Right.
An eighth of a night is an hour and a half.
Well, how did we come to half an hour?
Oh, we'll get to a half hour. So we'll get to a half hour. We have to light the candles that it should last for the shear. Now the shear is a machlokes, exactly what the shear is in the Gemara, but it's acha tichla regel min hashuk, which is until the people leave the streets. So in the Gemara's times, from seis hakachavim, from the zman when you lit until people left, was about a half hour. It was about a half hour.
That's radically different now.
Today, it's much later. People stay up much later because we have electric lights. People stay up to 9, 10 o'clock. Depends where you live. How late Tichlu Regel Min Hashuk is, which is an interesting shah we're going to get to in a moment. But the shear that the Gemara gives is a half hour. So now we have to see. That's depending on when you start lighting. So if you would like, the minhag used to always be to light after seis. People would go to shul for mincha ma'ariv. And then they would come home after Ma'ariv. It's a shiloh, it's a machlokes when to light. The Mechaber says that you light the neiros. The Mechaber says that you light the neiros on koydem shetishka im soif shkiyasa. So what's that word im soif shkiya? What does that mean, soif shkiya? We had a whole share on soif shkiya, tefil shkiya, tzeis. We had a whole share on exactly when the shkiya is, when the tzeis is. But the language soif shkiya is unclear, and many learn it means from tzeis hakachavim. Tzeis HaKachavim, that's one of the Zmanim. Tzeis HaKachavim. And the Emma says that was the minhag, basically, to light during that time, because people would go from Mincha Ma'ariv, and then after Ma'ariv, that's halacha, that Todah B'She'ina, Todah Kodim, so Ma'ariv comes before Adlokas Neiros. If you're going to wait till the Zman of Ma'ariv, you should have a Ma'ariv first. So people will come home. After Ma'ariv, if you daven Ma'ariv a drop early, sometime 10 minutes after Shkia, 20 minutes after Shkia, so by the time you came home, it was Tzeis HaKachavim, and you lit by Tzeis HaKachavim. That's the minhag everybody used to light then, and that's what more or less the pshat in the Mechaber is. And from Tzeis HaKachavim, it just has to last a half hour. That's where you get the half hour. Some learn Soif Shkia doesn't mean from Tzeis, it means from Rabbeinu Tam Shkia, which is, when we went to Zman, which is 13 and a half minutes before Tzeis. So if Tzeis is, whatever time Tzeis HaKachavim is, make a cheshbon, when it's 3 stars out, let's say it's 45 minutes after night. According to Rabbeinu Tam, it's 72 minutes, but let's say we go, 45 minutes, it's Tzeis. So go 13 and a half minutes earlier, that's the Soif Shkia, and that's the time to light, the Shabur says here, Havi Rishonim, is Tchila Shkia Shnia, Reva Shah, earlier than the Tzeis. So that's the proper time to light. Now there are others that held the Rambam meant Shkia Mamish, the beginning of Shkia. And in Eretz Yisrael, many people light, the Biskarov used to light, and many used to light actually on Shkia itself. That's what they light. Now in the Chutz La'aretz it's difficult to light by Shkia because it's quite light outside by Shkia. Shkia time is very light, and Shiraga Batir, Maya Mahani, it doesn't help to light a candle in the light, nobody sees it. So therefore we're not annoying to light right in Chila Shkia. So there is a machlokes one to light, if it's in the beginning of Shkia, if it's Seis, or if it's somewhere in between. So what happened was like this, that the Achroinim of the, nowadays Achroinim, Leisha, Baron, the others, came up with like a newsman, when should a person light? So they decided that they should light, they had different shiurim between Shkia and Seis. They didn't want to light the beginning of Shkia because it was too light outside. To wait at Seis, in Chutz La'aretz it's more than a half, in Eretz it's 20 minutes after Shkia, fine, 25 minutes, but in Chutz La'aretz it's more than a half hour after Shkia. Now if the Zman we said is a half hour, the Zman is a half hour, so you might miss the whole Zman. If you're going to wait till Seis, and let's say you really hold the Zman of Shkia, and then you wait till Seis, which is 45 minutes after Shkia, you're lighting too late. You're lighting after the Zman. So therefore they came up with a Zman which ranges somewhere between 20 minutes and 25 minutes, which they hold it can be Yotze all the Shitas. You're within a half hour of Shkia. You're in the beginning of Seif Shkia, and that's the best time to light. So each one had their Zmanim. The Baron said 25 minutes, some said 20 minutes, 22 minutes, but around that time, they're still within the range of a half hour of Shkia, and they're still before Tseis, and they have the Diak and the Rambam, and the Bialocha goes through that. It doesn't mamash have to be Tseis like Chavim, it could be a little earlier. So that's the proper time to light, would be 20-25 minutes after Shkia. But again, the minig, I saw from David Feinstein, he said that his father, Reb Moshe, would light himself 10 minutes after Shkia. That's what he held the time was. He would light 10 minutes after Shkia. But he told Reb David that he should light by Tseis. Why? He says the minig was always to light by Tseis. I'm Achmed like the guy and the others to light by Shkia, and he made it a little later. So that's my own hidden mitzvah. But as far as you go, you should light Tseis like a chavim. That's what he told his son.
What's the downside in waiting till Tseis? I mean, is it because you have to do mitzvah as soon as...
In the right time. The right time, and if you hold the time of Shkia, so by waiting till Tseis, you miss that Zman. The Zman is within, the Zman of lighting is a half hour.
But what is the right time? Forgetting about the clock for a second, what is the right time? I thought the right time was, we're concerned, obviously it's got to be dark, otherwise nobody notices there are the candles. The other concern is on the other side of the equation, is that once people go home, there's nobody on the street. But
today people are on the street. Today people are on the street, but the Zman was from going back to the Gemara's time when people would go to sleep, when that shear is.
But can you depend on the fact that, let's say I don't get home till...
Yeah, okay, we'll get to this. I'm just going to the L'Chatchila time.
Okay.
So the L'Chatchila time is questionable, whether it's Tseis or whether it's Shkia or somewhere in between. So if you go with Shkia, if you want to get that Zman, so you want to get within a half hour of that Zman, so you want to light earlier. So that's what happened. Ended up happening is that most of the world lit in Chutz La'aretz lit at Tseis like a chavim because it was after Mincha Ma'ariv, then they would go home and light. And they took that opinion. They were annoyed like that. And in the yeshivas, they took Moshe and Rabbi's view, and they lit actually like 20 minutes after Shkia. And all the yeshivas, they basically did that. They would light 20 minutes after Shkia, 5 minutes after Shkia.
People who are lighting at that time,
yeah.
Still has to go half an hour after the Tseis.
Oh, so now, right. So now, your chumrah, you don't want it to be a cooler. You want to light earlier, very nice. But you still want the nair to last until a half hour after the last man, which is Tseis. So therefore, a half hour is not going to do. You're going to have to put in that it should last till a half hour after Tseis. Like on Shabbos, you light much earlier Shabbos. You light before Shkia, because you can't light after Shkia on Shabbos, right? So you light before Shkia, but you have to have enough there to last till a half hour after Tseis. Otherwise, it might not have been long enough. So whatever time you're going to light earlier than Tseis Seker Chavim, it's very nice to try to chop all the shitas, but you have to have enough oil in there that will remain for a half hour after Tseis. So again, I'm just saying what the parameters of lighting is. Avada, the minhag was always to light after Tseis because the Mincha Ma'ariv and the Tseis, and they kept that shita. The shita's Pashas of the Mechaber. But there are many that are knowing to light earlier, and that's what it's based on.
And the first shot half an hour,
I don't think so. I think it's a half hour, 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes, yeah. So now, the Zachas today, Avada, Tichla Regel, and Ashok is much, much later. People are outside much longer, depending on what block you're on, but there are people around for much later. So Avada, and then there's another issue. Today we don't really light for the outside. right? Because today in Chutz La'aretz we're not lighting outside, we're lighting inside the house. And the halach is menicha al shulchan v'dayu. You can light on your dining room table. We're going to talk about that if we have time, exactly where one should light. But today Mibnei Sakana and Chutz La'aretz and Eretz they light outside. And Chutz La'aretz the minig became, which we'll discuss momentarily, the minig became to light inside. So once you're lighting inside, the ikar psumei nisa is for the people in the house. It's not really for the outside.
Really?
So
it doesn't apply anymore? I mean, don't you? I mean, I thought unless it's a sakana, but generally.
We'll talk about it. But Lamaisa, you light outside or you light inside?
I don't light outside.
Okay, you don't light outside. So when you light outside. If you're lighting inside.
No, but I light by the window, right?
Light by the window, because as I say, you light by the window.
That's not
okay, so but we're lighting inside. The ikar halacha is to light outside. Light outside by the door outside. But today we light inside. So the reason why we light inside is because even though today is not a sakana, because of a sakana they instituted to light inside. We'll see about it in a moment. So if you're lighting inside, so the hecker is to the bnei abayis, it's for the people. I always had the shaila, these menorahs that have the back on it, They have a back.
Yeah, so you can't see them.
So which way should you light it? Facing the window, outside, and you can't see it, or you should light it facing you? It's a big shaila. Is the ikar adlaka from me inside, or is the adlaka from the outside? So it's a big shaila. Because we light by the chaloin, we light by the window, the outside people should see it.
Well, the right to the left is what bothers me.
Too many things at once here.
No, because if you're facing it, you light this way. Forget about the back and the front.
When you look on the inside.
Then it looks like you're going backwards in the outside world.
Okay. Yeah.
We think that anyways, yeah.
Okay. So the kids so this is a shiloh who are lighting for. So the point I'm bringing out is like this. The point I'm bringing out is the zman, even though we still have the old zman of tichel regel min hashuk, but it changed for two reasons. First of all, our regel min hashuk could be a lot later. And two, maybe I'm not even lighting for the outside. Nafkamina would be, let's say I get home, I couldn't light, I got home at 12 o'clock at night. There's nobody on the street anymore. It's after, am I allowed to light with a bracha? Could I light the Ner Chanukah with a bracha? It's after the zman of mitzvah, you can't do it with a bracha, you can't be yetzer a mitzvah, it's after the zman. So I came home late, okay, there's nobody on the street anymore. It's finished. It's after
so I wake up everybody in the family and I light with a bracha.
So you wake up every family, but the only reason that shit works to wake up every in the family light with a bracha is because the ikar bracha is for the fnim. You're lighting for the bnei abayis. So if you're lighting for the bnei abayis, you can't have everything. Best of all worlds there.
I said, but then I call the doctor. I call you to make him a shabbat for me.
So you're lighting for the inside. As I state in halacha here. It says in halacha that if a person comes back late, here. So Ramah says, Yeshaymer, Shebizman hazeh shemadlikim b'fnim, ein sarach lizar. You don't have to be careful to light before tichla regel min hashuk, because we're lighting for the inside. It says Makom Makom Toiv Yoshel Lizar Gam Zman hazeh. It's good to be Lizar Bizman hazeh. That's Ramah. Now going back to the Machaber, he says Hadim L'Chatchila Avazeh Zman Lo Hidluk. You could light the whole night, and there's a whole shiloh if you can make a bracha here. So they say you should wake up people in the house and make a bracha. I guess yourself is not good enough. You have to wake someone else up. That is a kasha on this, but that's the halacha that been got here. So now that's the question: are we lighting for the outside or are we lighting for the inside? So. So halacha l'maisa, avada, as long as people are up outside, we can be yotzer as man. The people are outside, you can light for the outside. But if people are not up outside, where you're lighting for the inside, there's no pasumei nisa, so you have to wake someone up. And as man as there, you can light with a bracha because pasumei nisa is for yourself also. It's for the bnei abayis. But still, we try to do a pasumei nisa for outside. So l'chatchila one should light, should put up by the chaloin, and should light in a time when people could see outside.
Does it matter if your street is a street of people going by?
Yeah, it makes a difference. If there's nobody going by, nobody's going to see it.
Living on dead end.
Yeah, if you live on a side street where people aren't going by, you should light it earlier. You should light it early. If you light it late, it's not a pasumei nisa. Now, some want to say the chumrah goes the other way also. If you want to be yotzer the shir, so you should have long candles that are going to last. The briskers would light long candles, which will last until till 9, 10 o'clock at night. When it's after this month, people go home already. So it lasts for a few hours every night. They wanted to make sure
so that's
they
safe
got
that way.
To the end of this month.
But you're safe. I mean, like he says. I mean, there's certain streets. I live on the minor street, but still there are people going by. I don't know how often, but people are going by.
Yeah.
So if I only do only half hour, then chances are maybe one person is going to see it. If it lasts an hour and a half, then I triple my chances.
Okay, well, I wasn't saying it's like that. I'm just saying that after halacha, you want to have the shir till the zman of tichel regel menashut. So is a half hour sufficient, or maybe I have to do until everybody's finished?
What if a member of the family comes in late? They come in really late after you've already...
Right, so we're saying if the family comes in very late, so then when you light, nobody's outside anymore, but you're lighting for the inside. So as long as there's people up inside, so just assuming these are for the inside today. You lit already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we'll get to that. If one person lights,
yeah.
so that'll be more comfortable.
About 5 hours.
No, I'll tell you, you can do it until the end of the spot. So the Mishabura seems to hold not like that. The Mishabura seems to hold after a half hour, the candle's lit for a half hour, there's no mitzvah anymore, and it's finished. Lit the share, and that's it. Everything that happens afterwards is just extra bonus, but it's not part of your mitzvah really. You could use the nair, you're allowed to have hanuka from the nair maybe, you're not allowed to have hanuka from the nairs, but after the share the zman, it's not the mitzvah anymore. Maybe you could have hanuka. Mishabur seems to go like that. Others say today, no, since people are outside, as long as it's lit, it has the mitzvah. Okay, so that's the sheer regel menashe. Now, this question, who you're lighting for, the inside, the outside, I think has a very big nafkamina here in Thornhill. Has a very big nafkamina here in Thornhill, because many of the houses have windows over the garage, on the bedroom over the garage, but downstairs there's no windows to outside. I get the shaila every year, where should I light? Where should I light? Should I go in the bedroom, over there, and make a space by the window and light by the window over the garage, or should I light in the dining room? Where should I light? I don't have a window. Let's say you don't have a window going outside from the main floor, right, to the front. So where's
you have a window, people see there, you don't.
So what's the shaila? So what's the shaila? So what's the shaila? So if I was need to light in the dining room, if the ikar pasumanis is for the inside of the bayis, you're going to light in the bedroom. Who's walking in the bedroom? You're in the dining room. You're eating your latkes in the dining room. You're playing dreidel in your dining room. You're not in the bedroom there, making a mess. You're bringing all the chametz in. You can't. You're in the bedroom. You're in the dining room. So should you light in the window over the thing which goes to the outside? If the ikar pasumanis is for the outside, so go upstairs and light it there. But if the ikar pasumanis is for the inside, so then if the ikar pasumanis is for the inside, so then you should light it there also. So I saw he has Dov Feinstein a whole maracha on this, which is better to do outside or inside, what the ikar hadlak is.
Honestly, why would there even be a havamina about the? I don't understand. You have a mishpacha, but somebody doesn't know what Chanukah is. They don't know that it's Chanukah. That people lit the candles. I mean, maybe not every single person. I don't really get what you mean by lighting the candles for people on the inside. I mean, your mishpacha knows that it's Chanukah. I mean, I thought the whole idea was...
They might know it's Chanukah. You still have to light the menorah.
Okay, I understood.
Okay, so you have a mitzvah to light the menorah. I don't care if they know it's Chanukah.
Okay, so they saw you light the menorah upstairs.
So they saw. Maybe at the time of the lighting, that's enough for the inside. Maybe at the time of the lighting.
I think the whole purpose is the outside world can see that we're...
No, that's not the whole purpose.
What?
The whole purpose is for you. You
me?
have to do pasul manisa to the outside. To say,
the act of doing pursuing this is what
I've
makes
one
it.
lot guy burned for 8 days. It's enough.
Everybody's busy doing mitzvahs for others. They forget about themselves. You gotta do it for yourself. Do mitzvahs. So,
You become.
but that's a question. Who's the ikar pasul manisa for? It's a valid question. So he says, Rabbi Feinstein says, the best thing is to do it for upstairs, because you stay around there for a half hour. Stay around upstairs in the bedroom a half hour. A light for the outside. And
who's this for on the outside?
The guy's walking by from work.
For Jews around you? For goyim around you? For what? For
Jews.
For Jews.
For Jews. It's a shiloh, because what's the raya? Because if, let's say, you're in the Ir She'ein Bo Yisrael.
Right.
So there's no Pasum Nisa. So that's the whole question. Am I allowed to light them there? I'm not. Who am I lighting for?
The presuming this is only for Jews. That doesn't apply to goyim.
That's a shiloh. It's a shiloh. It's a big shiloh. There's a few chuvas on this, because what happens? If let's say you're in a place where there's only when there's only non-Jews around. So Avada, you have a chiyuv to light for yourself. You have to light. But the question is, if your wife is lighting at home, do I have? I'm Yosef mitzvah already. To my wife, do I light another candle that I should see it in there? So you're allowed it. So you should see it in there. You can light a candle, so you should see it in there.
It sounds like you're suggesting after you light, you should actually stay there. We stay with the candle.
Stay there. You should stay there
don't leave it alone.
for a half hour.
Your wife's not allowed to work.
Okay. We'll get to your question in a moment. For everything, I don't get sidetracked here. So the kids. So he says the best thing is to light in the bedroom. Don't ask your wife; she's not going to like it with the curtains and all that. But the best thing is to light there, and it's going for the outside. I believe. I have to ask him again, but I believe last year I asked Rabbi Miller, and he said he held no. You should light in your dining room. You should light in your dining room. That's the Ikar Pasumah. He said you can't see the bedroom from your house. People will walk around the house, they're not going to see it. It's the best. The place to light is in where you're living, and you're living in your living space, not in the bedroom. That's the place to light. Avada, the best place to light. If I tell people the best place to light is by the door of the house. If you have a storm door that has glass, so you can see through, leave the storm door closed. You're supposed to light with Pesach Habayis anyway, so light by the door of the house. People could see. You could see it from inside. You can see it from outside.
If you're on the side,
you leave the main door open and you leave the storm door closed, and you light in the doorway there, as long as you don't have kids knocking it over. And then you can see it from the outside, see it from the inside. You yotze the din Pesach Habayis, and that's the best place to light. And you let it light till a half hour after Tzeis, and then you move it. But at least you yotze the Ikadin. That's the best place.
They have those nice hanukahs now that are all glass enclosed.
Glass enclosed, yeah.
So you put it outside.
So let's get into this question over here.
But that's even if the doors don't face the front, but face the side.
No, face the front of the house.
Yeah, but a lot of a lot of these entrances are on the side, like my house, right? The door, I don't have a glass enclosure anyway. I'm just thinking theoretically. The door is on the side. In other words, the front of the house is here, but the door is like over here.
You
so
can't see it from the front.
you really wouldn't be able to see it unless you're coming up to walk. The paper boy, you would see it. But
from the guy walking on the side, he can't see it. The guy walking down the block.
Yeah, for a second.
If you can't see it, you can't see it. It won't
For a
happen.
second.
Yeah, but they're indented too.
Actually, no. You probably
Okay.
They're indented too.
Why today do we light inside? Why do we light inside? The Mikvah mitzvah is to light outside, by the door of the house, by the Pesach HaChotzah. And it's all they light outside. Why are we lighting inside the house for? Sakana. It's a sakana today. It's not a sakana. It's a sakana. You wouldn't be able to light by the window either. They would throw rocks through the window. Shasa sakana meant that you did the mitzvah, they would come and get you. You know, in the Soviet Union back then. If you did a hanuka, it was to light outside or inside by the window. Why are we lighting inside? Shasa sakana. It's very difficult question. So the Achonim talk about this. There's some want to say, the Chashulchan and others want to say that because in Chutz La'aretz it's windy, it's snowy, and outside is very difficult. The Aruch HaShulchan says outside it's very hard to light outside. So the Masakin are ready to go. It's not so much Shasa Sakana. It's not geschmack to light. It's not practical. It's not geschmack to light outside. Elamai, you light in one of these glass boxes. He says that's not supposed to be the candle's inside the glass box. You can't see it. It's not supposed to light by Ashoshes inside a glass box. That's what he writes to Aruch HaShulchan. Others, the Shelos Yavitz argues and says Avadi can light in a glass box. That's what they do in Eretz Yisrael. Everybody lights in the glass box. They light outside. But the Aruch HaShulchan says it's not the best way to light in the glass box. You have to light in there. It should be out. So therefore, today it's not practical to light outside, so you light inside. It's a big chiddush because Pashtus, that's not the reason that says the Gemara, Shasa Sakana. So, okay, it's a question. The others say he brings a Megillus Tainus that says Mitzvah Laniach Al Pesach Chutz B'Misyar Min Al Leitzim. Let's say that's a kind of Leitzim Manicha Al Pesach Beisim B'Fnim B'Shaskar B'Shulchanai. So Leitzim is people don't appreciate the mitzvah and they bother you, they cheper you, leave them there outside. It's Ganovim. There's people that'll it's not practical, not just sakana, but people don't appreciate the concept today. They're all lighting all the stuff outside. But, it was never so comfortable yet to go light his menorah outside. Some guy will come by and you never left your bike outside. Forget about a menorah. So menorah lights, you bring it inside. You have to know why, but that became the minhag. In Chutz La'aretz, everybody lights inside. And Eretz Yisrael, even Eretz Yisrael, in his days, he writes everybody lit inside. Based on some Minchas Yitzchak, he said, even today, he says everybody, even Eretz Yisrael, they light inside. Today, everybody lights outside already. And that's, back then, they would light inside. So he says, and he brings down Bnei Yisachar, a beautiful one, that he writes like this, Al Derech Remez. It says, he brings a b'shem Da'ilus Ephraim. Says the Gemara says in Isa Darsha Torah Chavivo La Pazer. If you see a generation that the Torah is chaviv to you, spread out. Because that's what the Gemara says. In Isa Dar, if you see a generation that Torah is not precious to them, kanes, you have to gather together. Because it says So it says like this, Al Derech, Drush here. So he says the Doris Rishonim, the early generations, Torah was very precious in their eyes. So the Ner Hanuka, which represents the Roim is the Torah, Arm Bachutz, you go out and you spread it outside, everybody should see it, and you spread the Torah outside. Avodoros Halalu, Shenasmata Torah V'lom there, the Chachmei Adar don't have koyach to straighten everybody out, the way he puts it, you have to be machna for all the people and the Khalifa and tell them how good they are. So he says, that's what he says when they ask so Mela, you shouldn't go outside. You should at least straighten out your house. They used to say a joke, first I thought that I could change the world. Then I realized I can't change the world. I'll change, the block. And he said you can't change the people on block. I'll change my family. Finally realized that the only person maybe I could change is myself. So it says when it's Dorsha Torah is not chaviv allow, at least try to fix your family. Make sure your family is intact and in shape and following the right path. Put the Ner Hanuka inside for Anshe Beisai. So it says Oilos Ephraim says Al Derech Drush. But Al Kapanim, that's what Shasa Sakana. Shasa Sakana is Sakana outside. People go out in the streets and they get lost and they're not following the right path. The world is one big Sakana. The house should be a safe haven for Torah. You should have a place. The house should be set up that this is a place where it's run properly. Al Derech HaTorah. So you put the Ikud Ner, this Manazeh should be b'fnim by the house that people should see it. That's Al Derech Drush. But anyways, this is a big question: is where the Ner Hanuka is for the inside, for the outside. We're doing it for, but today we light it inside. At Levada, we do it by the window that people outside should see it. But that's the place where we do it, Chutz La'aretz. There's we have to get into. I'm not going to have time to get into it now so much, but there's a lot of halachas which are relevant for two things. Besides for traveling itself, traveling is a big issue. Where to light, when to light, how to light. But there's also the mitzvah Ner Hanuka is really Ner issue basic. So in other words, all you need is one candle for the household. So let's say a person's traveling away. His wife's lighting for him at home. He's really not chayiv in the mitzvah Chanuka. He's not chayiv in the mitzvah Chanuka because he's his chayiv, but the lighting in his house, he has it there in his house. So really, he's yotzeh. But there's another issue. The other issue is that part and parcel of the mitzvah Chanuka is getting the brachas, seeing the ner and getting the brachas. So besides that, you're yotzeh the mitzvah because you have a candle lit in your house, but you also need to participate in the mitzvah. Getting the brachas and seeing the ner. And for that reason, Chazal instituted a birchas haroya, that if, let's say, a person doesn't have a ner, but he's walking down the street and he sees a ner Hanuka in somebody's window, he can make a bracha, Shachiyara the first night and Sha'asa Nisam Lavisenu, just by seeing the ner. Now this birchas haroya may not be so practical today, because there's a whole machlokes b'shainim if you could make that bracha actually if someone lit for you with a bracha at home. So it may not be so practical, but in every case. But there is a concept where a person should be hearing the brachas. In other words, let's say a guy's traveling to Eretz Yisrael and he's getting a flight before this month. So he's going to be on the plane. He's not going to be able to he's not going to be able to fly tonight. So he should get a shliach. Nobody's home. but he should get a shliach to light for him in his house. He should get a shliach to light. Let's say he's leaving, he has to go to the airport at 1 o'clock. And it's not to light's not till 5. So he has to get someone should come to his house and light his menorah in his house, because he should have a Ner Chanukah lit. Now that person who's lighting has a whole, is a shliach for you, so technically he's lighting the menorah, you should make a bracha. But because the brachas are more personal to the person himself, that you have to have the brachas, so the shliach is off question whether he can actually make the bracha when he lights your menorah, because you're not hearing the brachas. You really should hear it, and you're not there to hear the brachas when you have your shliach, and that's part and parcel of the mitzvah Chanukah is to make the bracha and to see the ner. So even though you can get a shliach to light for you your menorah, but you're not. That's only partially fulfilling the mitzvah. It's not fully fulfilling the mitzvah.
Well, how does it? Because there's nobody in your home, nobody.
By the window, people will see it. People will see it. So you have your house you have a ner.
But you don't benefit.
You're not seeing it, so you're missing part of the mitzvah. So the way for the shliach to do it is he should make a bracha on his ner, and then without talking, go to your house and light your ner. So at least you have a ner lit in there. If you can't light anyway, you're on the plane, you can't light. But
if you're out of your home,
what?
No one's there. If you're out of your home,
safety.
during the time, should you do it in the dining room or the upstairs window?
No, there for sure. People have to see it. They have to go outside. Yeah. So I'm just saying there is such a concept. Now, so the mitzvah is always split. So we always have this tension, so to say, between someone's lighting for you in a house who to the mitzvah, and between you want to get the mitzvah yourself wherever you are. That's why you're not on the plane. You're in a place where you could light. So you want to light the mitzvah. You want to light it yourself. So the mitzvah mehadrin, each person can light themselves. So we'll have to talk about it. I'm out of time here, but we'll have to talk about what the halacha is, what the proper way to do it is. Where a person is traveling, a person should ask if he's traveling, so he's away from home. Exactly how he should light, when he should light. If someone's traveling through the day, should he stop on the side of the road and light? He's driving the whole day. Should he? Where should he light? How should he light? But everybody has a chiyuv to be yotze the mitzvah, and so you have to find out the best way to do it. But technically, if someone's lighting in the house, you yotze your mitzvah because it's never issue basic. There's just a second part of the mitzvah which you're not getting, which you want to participate in.